Now, if you learned one thing after Baby Gem started his album rollout, announced the tracklist, tour, and release date all in one day, it should be that for rap's next blockbuster album that we are about to get. No time is being wasted at all, and we are getting straight to the action. And with that, we now got news that the biggest moment for this album rollout is about to drop next. And it's going to be a new song that will feature the return of Kendrick Lamar alongside his cousin. And if you are ready to see how we know this is coming, when it's coming, and what it is going to come with, because we are also going to be getting a music video as well, we can confirm that. Well, as we are really here and so much is happening, make sure to leave a like, subscribe, hype, and do whatever else you can because, well, if you're a Kendrick Lamar fan, Baby Keem fan, PG Lang fan, or just a fan of great hip-hop, as the other fan bases and other circles around certain rappers are already starting to get mad and crash out over the fact that just when the game thought the coast was clear, well, Kendrick Lamar and Baby Keem are right here ruining the moment. Just make sure to leave that like and support because we are going to need it. And we just got to get into what's about to be rap's next genre-changing moment, which now, well, as Baby Keem has indeed announced his brand new album and the follow-up to 2021's Melodic Blue finally. Well, after I did tell you that it was going to be coming, we got even more news than I expected, which, well, is coming from the same source who reported that this album was coming this week. And that turned out to be another right report in a series that has told us that Don Toliver, Harry Styles, and others were coming as well. And now what this latest piece of news is telling us is that Baby Keem has already set up a teaser and appetizer for this new album that is going to drop and serve as a prelude to it. And well, what that's going to be is a song that is going to be the next collaboration he makes with his cousin Kendrick Lamar. And now specifically what this piece of news has told us is, well, this right here. And while we know Kendrick Lamar is featured on the song Good Flirt on Baby Keem's new record, because he confirmed that in his quickly announced tracklist reveal, this report is telling us that a Kendrick Lamar and Baby Keem music video is coming very, very soon, which implies that it is going to come before the album drops. And just adding more official word and trust to this entire report, with longtime Kendrick Lamar collaborator, friend, and also fellow MC and producer, Jason Martin or Problem. As within all of the chaos that happened after Baby Keem announced his first album in 5 years, as somebody came out and said, "We've seen all the crazy, scary, spooky stuff. When does it start to get hilarious?" Which of course is referring to the end of TV Off. And well, the pretty much prophecy that Lefty left in that track about what Kendrick Lamar was doing and all of these different eras and all of these different goals were causing what Jason Martin ended up saying was Thursday night. Which again implies that this week and either on Thursday itself or Friday, we are going to get that Kendrick Lamar and Baby Keem song and the next chapter of this entire thing. And so with that, we can put together that with the single, prelude, or whatever else you want to call it to this new record. It is going to be this video which is going to be with him and Kendrick. And it's directed by Renell Madano, who just for reference is the person who made the Mr. Moral and the Big Steppers artwork and put together the pivotal cover that ended up being on that album. And more recently, she did the cover art and supporting artwork for Justin Bieber's Swag album, which is pretty funny because a lot of people were saying that it looked like Justin Bieber's morale, that there was this Mr. Moral influence. And I guess this was why. And she also directed the music video for Bad Bunny's record Noe Vaol, which is an incredible song with an incredible video. I will just show you how that looks here so you can get used to some of the visual language that she uses. And with that, which I think just adds to the stakes of this all the more and shows the level of detail and the cloth of creatives that Kendrick Lamar Keem and their creative society are locking in with. But now listen, where things are about to get a lot more fun, well, is right here. And things are really about to get very exciting because we have seemingly gotten a lot more information about this new song from Baby Keem and Kendrick Lamar than we could have ever imagined. And it's telling us that there is a much bigger play here. And what I am referring to first off is that the song we are seemingly about to get before the release of this Keem album that we waited so long for. Well, there is a chance that it's not going to be the song Good Flirt, which we seemingly heard some of the previews of that track possibly in the almost 10-minute-long Boomin' doc that Baby Keem dropped right alongside the album announcement, which was really powerful and insightful. And instead of that record, what we are going to see here is an entire completely different song. Altogether, where it's going to serve as more of a statement and warning, where Kendrick and Keem are trading crazy levels of bars, rather than delivering a song that is going to be a hit record or something that is going to make a massive impact and even a #1 push on the charts in the long run. And well, if we go back to some of those early reports and leaks that we got about this Baby Keem album from about a month ago, and you just refer to how it said that Kendrick Lamar is supposedly featured on more than one song, but then on the track list, he is only credited for this one feature. Well, maybe the reports got conflated and they thought that this other Kendrick Lamar song was a part of the album, and whatever is about to come here has just been decided to be released separately. Or at the very least, it's being put out as a bonus single or a prelude to the record. Kind of like Kendrick's Heart series is, but in this case for Keem, or just something along those lines. And listen, while only time will tell how this all ends up lining out and what song we end up getting from Kendrick and Keem in just a matter of a few days presumably, there is something more significant we need to address. And it's a new theory that is starting to emerge around something that is going to drop around this album and could even be this song that Kendrick and Keem have coming before it to support this new era. And well, the best way to just preface all of this and break this down is to first remember, and for a lot of other artists and fans, I know this may be hard, but for the creative powerhouse that is Kendrick Lamar and Dave Free's PG Lang imprint, they have told us in the GNX era and in that Squabble video, which really did feel like a turning point moment, that everything means something in their work, and they are creating from the most intentional cloth that you possibly could. And in terms of finally rewarding us for a lot of the detective work that as a community, as fans, and as rap listeners, we have been doing, well, we can finally say that after all the clue hunting, after all the mysteries we have been trying to make sense of, and after all of the details around Kendrick Lamar and this entire era from him that have continued and continued to show that something bigger is coming, but we just haven't been able to decipher it. We have all finally won. Things are starting to make sense. And all of the work and all the conversations we've been having about all these different symbols are actually coming true, which isn't just telling us that everything means something, but we are actually finding out what the something is in this case, which is rewarding us now in the best way. Because what we have found out, well, is that for Kendrick Lamar and Baby Keem, they must have sat in a room together sometime within the past few years or so and just figured out how to plan and create an almost phase-like system equivalent to something like the Marvel movies in terms of the sequencing of it all and how to make their own musical version of it, especially within this GNX chapter all the way until now and through sometime in the future, presumably as with Kendrick's run already and with what Keem is showing that he is going to reach. Not just are these two clearly dominating the industry as rap megastars and musical powerhouses, but in terms of the intentionality of this all, they are telling a story that is leading to something much bigger. And on that journey that started with GNX, let's say, well, whatever happened there, it's going to continue right here with Keem. And when you see the symbol of this album, which happens to be nothing else other than dice, and then you remember and go back to Kendrick Lamar's G and X era, and specifically the Grand National Tour, and well, one major thing that happened in July of 2025 on the Europe leg well was Kendrick Lamar wearing this jacket, which you can see right here. It featured these cards and the symbols, of course, which are another theme and symbol in Baby Keem's new era, as he literally has exclusive cards as part of one of the merch bundles and dice piece as well. And then from Kendrick Lamar wearing this jacket, which we all thought was alluding to something we could not understand. But it clearly was important in terms of how defined Kendrick just made this item in the first place, and how different it was than everything else he had on. And then from there to then, when Kendrick performed Dodger Blue on the tour, and there were these giant dice that would appear on the stage, and it was such a massive prop that this wasn't just made to look cool. It obviously had to be made for an intentional reason. At the end of the day, the Kendrick tours have never been the Drake tours. They have functioned as almost stage plays where every single detail means something. Every single prop means something. Every single person on the stage is there to contribute to something. And otherwise it wouldn't happen because he's not Drake. He doesn't just put random stuff on the stage for the purpose of putting random stuff. And that's been the difference between Kendrick and so many people. Well, I say all of that to now say, when you look at the way Baby Keem has started to roll out this album and see the items and icons that are being associated with it, and then see all these moments from Kendrick Lamar back then, we have clearly found out that Kendrick Lamar left behind these Easter eggs and clues for a reason, which are now showing us that right alongside the story and world of GNX and whatever he has been doing in this era, where he is by far the biggest rapper in the world and arguably the biggest artist on the entire planet. Well, it was always part of the plan to roll right into the next era through Keem's album. And there has been a tease through these symbols that have served and directly now tie into the visual language and aesthetic of the GNX album in a lot of ways, but just show a completely different facet of it off. And now where things start to get even crazier and possibly more exciting from here, well, is now with all these callbacks to the G and X era, and just finding out Kendrick Lamar was preparing us for the new Keem album ever since the tour started at the very least. Well, first I want to go back to a specific day on the Grand National Tour to think back to Kendrick's second show at Metifay Stadium in New Jersey specifically. I want everybody to think about what significantly happened there, which if you don't remember, I'm bringing this up because this was the only show that Baby Keem came out on the tour on, and him and Kendrick performed Family Ties together. And this just has me thinking why this is important, is because this was the show that introduced the prop of the giant G and X on the stage with a red tarp that, well, just sat there behind Kendrick after it was not there for the first chunk of shows altogether and the first night at the same stadium in Metifay. And now just thinking back to the way Kendrick put all these signs out there around Baby Keem's return, and we see they were plotting all along. I have to say, this seems like a clear extension of all of that, and just another part of the lore between what Kendrick is doing, what Keem's album is doing here, whatever they are ultimately working to, because to just think about how it took Baby Keem to finally touch that stage, and then all of a sudden this second G and X appeared and it stayed there for the rest of the tour, and then it even appeared in the Luther video in the exact same form as well. There's clearly some sort of thread of symbols here that are all building to something that we are finally starting to understand. It seems like Baby Keem has been the missing piece, and things still get crazier from here as well. You can trace this back even further and go all the way back to the GNX trailer from the day the G and X album dropped, and we'll see that in addition to Kendrick Lamar's G and X. Well, I'm sure you remember there has always been a second one, and it didn't have a tarp then, and it just sat there as a mirror to what Kendrick is doing. And to go back to that trailer and think about the song that was played all the way back then, but we have still not gotten in. And of course, the bodies record that we all still want more than anything else. I think it's safe to say I speak for everybody when I say that. Well, something that's very interesting is that there was a new Baby Keem snippet that came out where he was rapping better than we have ever heard him rap, and it sounded like it was over a darker and grittier instrumental, similar to the one Kendrick Lamar rapped on with that G and X trailer all the way back then. And with that, listen, I know there is a lot going on, but this is what it takes to understand the greatest creatives in the world. And I don't know if this is going to happen exactly like people are starting to speculate, but a popular theory that is coming around with all of this new information that Baby Keem has given us, well, is not just solidifying this idea that the second GNX has always been the symbol for the second rapper on PG Lang alongside Kendrick and Keem, but well, the very presence of it has mirrored the status of Keem, from remaining silent with the tarp on it ever since we have seen that trailer. Well, that has symbolically shown him perfecting the album he is showing he is so confident in, and now circling back to that very moment where Kendrick previewed that song that we never got. The rumor is, the song we are about to get may be that song now, and we may find out that it features both Kendrick and Keem in one of the most insane rapping songs we have ever heard. And I do think it's important to note, I will just say looking back at some of the lyrics to these songs, as Kendrick is clearly talking about multiple people, and it seems like he is talking about a duo. And there has of course just been duality all over GNX ever since we saw this trailer from the 2 Cars to so much else. And even now with this new Baby Keem album, it's 12 songs as well, which was the length of G and X, and almost with that, it's like we are seeing a mirror there. I mean, at the very least, there are a lot of parallels and a lot of things that are making more sense than they ever had. And it seems like maybe we could be finding some answers to a lot more soon. But listen, while I don't know if all of this is true, I do think it's clearly worth mentioning and bringing up because what we do know for sure is that Kendrick has been teasing the return of Baby Keem. And aside from the signs that well foreshadowed this album from Kendrick directly with the jacket and the dice, It seems like there has been a clear parallel with Baby Keem and his presence, and then the giant GNX that we saw on the tour and the GNX we saw in the Luther music video. And again, as the very vision statement of this era has been everything means something. That has to be significant. There is no other way around it. But for now, that's all I got, and I think that's all the community's got right now. And I think as far as everything else goes, we just gotta wait and see what is going to unfold. But as we know for sure that Kendrick Lamar and Baby Keem got new records, and there is going to be a new music video to show the excitement off. Well, what is for certain is that rap is about to get a lot more fun, as we are going to see one of the most exciting duos in all of the genre operate at a level that well based on the time we have waited to hear the return of Keem, and the level we know Kendrick has been on already. And then adding to that, the thought that has been going into all of this. I mean, for the rest of the rap game, you better pack it up, because when this thing drops, nothing is about to ever be the same. So, now all that said, let me know. What are your thoughts on everything circling around Kendrick Lamar and Baby Keem and Baby K's new album? What do you think about this new potential drop that is going to come with Kendrick Lamar and Baby K in the music video? What do you think it's going to be? Do you think it's going to be a single? Do you think it's going to be a standalone? And what type of track do you think it's going to be? What are you looking forward to about it? And well, let me know your thoughts on everything else Baby Keem, Kendrick Lamar, and rap related all together. Listen, if you made it to this point in the video, thank you for watching. I can't thank you enough for your support. It really means everything to me. And if you made it here, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, hype, and do whatever else you can already if you have not, because it helps me out a ton. And listen, if you want to stick around for a little longer and see just how before this, had I told everybody Baby Keem was about to drop and just the implications that are coming with this release and what it's going to mean for the rap game as a whole. But most importantly for me, I have finally proven after people tried to say that I was lying that, well, I'm not wrong about things, I'm just early. You're not going to want to miss this one. Check out the suggested video. Hey, Heat.